Hi everyone, how's it going? This is Lloyd Evans coming at you from the upper room. This is one of those dreaded update videos. Everything's fine, don't worry. There's no existential crisis going on. I'm not being moved out from anywhere. Everything is completely fine. Well, I say everything. Everything's fine in my life, apart from my mental health. There's no reason actually for me to feel bad or feel stressed or to be struggling, because I really have everything that I need already. Like, I have my girls. My girls are my entire universe. So there's no logical, quantifiable reason for me to be struggling at the moment with depression, and you wouldn't maybe know it from my videos. But unfortunately, my brain chemistry isn't cooperating at the moment. That's the only way I can describe it. Actually, the universe isn't cooperating at the moment, and it's funny because this is my second attempt at filming this video. The first attempt was interrupted by a waste truck, a waste tanker. And I was laughing when it happened because there's this weird thing where at my new location, the upper room, that I'm very grateful to be filming at now. It's a brilliant space. It's so much more comfortable than the last place where I was living. And it's more peaceful generally, although every now and then something will happen. And because it's so peaceful, if anything happens on my little street, immediately everyone hears it. And I have this thing where, weirdly, every time I film a video, whether it's a rebuttal or something like this, at almost the precise moment where I hit record, this tanker shows up with this loud diesel engine. Chug, 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 chug. You know, you notice if even a car comes down my road, but if a big truck comes down my road, like a tanker, and then starts pumping out, let's say, excrement from the building opposite, for some reason it needs to happen 2 or 3 times a week. I don't know why. I guess there's a lot of excrement flowing from that building that they need to deal with. But yeah, it just so happens that almost every single time I hit record on a new video, that's when the truck emerges out of nowhere. And I'm telling you this because it's kind of a good metaphor for my life in general. Like, everything on paper is good, but things just kind of have a habit recently of coming out of nowhere and hitting me when I'm fairly compromised emotionally. Like, I mean, the tanker, it's fine. I mean, I wasn't happy with the take anyway, so I've just scrapped it and I'm recording again. But it's a good metaphor for how life just hurls things at you. And when it comes to mental health, I think that ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have this unique problem of being very, very underprepared for things, especially social problems, dealing with friendships that maybe turn sour, having disagreements, having problems with people that we're close to where they perhaps fail us in some way. And we need to drastically rethink our dependency upon them and also our perception of them. And that's something that you're not prepared for as a Jehovah's Witness, because when you're a Jehovah's Witness, first of all, everybody has to be your friend. You are forced to love everybody who is in your congregation, shall we say. If they're a Jehovah's Witness, you are forced to love them. That's a weird thing, isn't it? Being forced to love someone. But we just run with it, or we just went along with it as Jehovah's Witnesses. So kind of ready-made forced friendships is one thing that we had to deal with. And the second thing is being completely under-equipped to actually go out and make new friends. Because why would we? We have everything that we need in the truth, in our perfect little bubble. Everything outside our perfect little bubble is bad association, so why would we trouble ourselves with getting involved socially, going to parties, going to events, finding out what's on locally, exploring our creativity, signing up to groups, in my own case, doing music, doing comedy, doing painting. There's so much stuff that I do that I was never involved in, never dreamed of being involved in when I was a Jehovah's Witness, because we didn't need it. It was pointless to even think about it. And when I first woke up from being in a cult, I was in a marriage and I was living in quite an isolated setting, so that we weren't socially involved. We weren't going out and doing things. We didn't have ties really with anybody who lived locally to us. We did have friends, but they were far, far away, and maybe we'd need to get on a plane or drive across a continent to go and see them. It's another thing entirely when you need to invest time and energy in building a social circle. In my own case, because now I'm single, and that's something I need to do, is integrate. Integrate with some kind of community, something that's going to, I guess, keep me distracted or keep me from being completely by myself, keep me from being cut off and isolated for the long spans of time, 10 days, because I have the girls every other weekend. For the long spans of time in between, I'm having to keep myself occupied and keep myself distracted. And those are the times when things can sometimes go right and you really enjoy it, and you enjoy doing music. In my own case, I'm now a singer-songwriter. I have a song on Spotify, which I should plug, I guess. So yeah, I finally produced, or a friend produced it for me. I paid him, and the song is now on Spotify, and it's one of many songs that I perform. And now I have a band, and these incredibly talented musicians are helping me perform my music. But anyway, check out my song if you haven't done so already. Can't hurt the algorithms on Spotify, I guess, to plug it on my YouTube channel. The point is that my creative side, the side of me that is musical, wants to create things for my own, just for pure enjoyment, I ignored it. I ignored it for so long. And even after I'd got out of Jehovah's Witnesses, it just kind of went on the back burner, especially when you become a father, because your children are everything. So that's all you can really think about. But then if you go through a breakup and you're co-parenting, And in my own situation, I'm going for long periods where I'm just by myself and I'm having to kind of keep myself occupied. It would be fantastic if all of that time I were just making videos. It would be brilliant to be a workaholic now. I was a workaholic before. Now I'm not. Now I'm not. Because of everything that happened and the way it happened. I still feel passion for my work, and I still feel an immense amount of gratitude to those who help me and support me and stand by me. And I derive enormous satisfaction from the messages, from the comments in the videos. I do read the comments. Every single comment I read. I may not be able to reply to every single comment, but every single comment I read. Because here's the thing, in order to do this job, in order to create content, you actually need to care about what people think. You need to have time for every opinion. Because if you don't care at all what people think, or how your content is received, or whether you're being persuasive with people, or whether you're credible to people, if you don't care about any of that, it's impossible to make content, to drag yourself in front of a camera. So even though there are times when I need, for my own well-being, to step back and not do this job, I still need to. I still need to, because either I care or I don't. Either I walk away and do something completely different, something unrecognizable from ex-Jehovah's Witness activism, or I do ex-Jehovah's Witness activism. It turns out there isn't a middle ground, because either you care or you don't. And one of my problems is that I do care. I do care what people think. I've always cared what people think. Even people who hate me. Even people who are actually quite toxic. And that brings me to another issue is I've recently had some family turmoil. I am not going to go into specifics about what's happened with these issues. But there's been a lot happening behind the scenes. That has been challenging for me to cope with, because I have over a number of years adapted to things being a certain way with my nuclear family, in other words, the people I grew up with. And things shifted slightly recently to the point where I was like, maybe I need to reevaluate these connections, and maybe I need to make more of an effort, and maybe I should grab some opportunities. Maybe I should learn to trust. Maybe I should open myself up. Maybe there's a way in. Maybe there's a way in where I can be enough to at least one person in my nuclear family that I grew up in. And it turned out to be a mirage. It turned out to be an illusion. But that was still a very jarring experience to go through. To go from adapting to a situation to then readjusting, or being open to readjusting, and then, okay, now I need to switch back to my old programming of being self-sufficient from those people. So I'm rambling at this point. But hopefully it's giving you some kind of insight into why I am not as active as I would like to be. I would love to be spitting out video after video after video on such an important issue as cults and manipulation and the way groups control people and ruin lives. And I will continue to do that. There's just this small problem. I'm a human being and I am beholden to the whims of my brain chemistry. And I think I'm doing well. I know I am in a much, much stronger place emotionally than I was even a year ago or definitely 2 years ago. Every year on year, I can feel myself getting stronger and feel myself moving in the right direction and growing as a person. But usually when people go through the kind of experience that I went through, they can hide behind a desk or they can do something that doesn't require them to dip into a source of trauma. That's the situation I'm in. I'm managing my mental health overall in a way where I see progress. And on the other hand, I'm doing a job where people are believing in me and supporting me and helping me and following me and pledging money on a monthly basis. And that's a real privilege, but it's not without its challenges. So I just wanted to, I don't know what I wanted to say, to be completely honest, other than to just update you with what's going on in my head and try to communicate that as eloquently as possible, and I guess manage expectations. I want to do a rebuttal for last month's Jehovah's Witness JW Broadcasting, and I want to do a rebuttal to this month's JW Broadcasting. And I also want to catch up on some of the backlog of videos that my patrons have been voting for over the last couple of years that I've never gotten around to doing. Inevitably, I'm only going to be able to do a fraction of the stuff that people have been asking me to make videos on, because I gave myself too much to do there, It turns out that even just asking for people's ideas on a monthly basis is actually quite a lot to keep up with. Because all it takes is for there to be like some big development with some change, the relaxation of the beard rule or the relaxation of the higher education thing, and all of a sudden you have something else that you need to devote your energy to other than what your patrons and your YouTube channel members have been asking you to make a video on weeks ago or months ago or even years ago. That's one of the issues that kind of I grapple with, where I'm trying to kind of manage my own expectations and other people's expectations. But the point is, I am here and I am on top of things, more or less, but I'm also sad. I know where I need to be in life in order to be happy. I should be happy with what I have, which is my 2 girls. They are everything to me. they're more than enough. It's just that I know that in order to move from where I am now to feeling like I'm truly happy, quite a few things still need to change. And I'm working on those things. But while I'm working on those things, I'm going to go through periods where life is difficult, and my work especially is difficult. Because again, dipping into past trauma in order to make content. And I appreciate your patience during these periods where I'm having to navigate this kind of emotional minefield that I'm traversing. So hopefully that makes some sense to you. If nothing else, listen to Guinea Pig. Hopefully you'll like it. And hopefully there will be more songs that I can record and produce, because I really love making music. That's one thing I've learned about myself post-cult, is that I am a musical person. And I really love making music. I don't know how good I am. You know, I don't think I'm the next Bob Dylan or whatever, but I just enjoy it. That's all I know. And so hopefully you enjoy what I create, if you have time for that stuff. If all you're really interested in is cult content and videos about Jehovah's Witnesses, you're in luck, because there will be more to come. But I do need your patience. Because every now and then my mental health worsens. And in those moments, I need to kind of regroup, especially if I get some kind of personal setback, some friendship goes sour, or something else in my private life just kind of comes from nowhere. Yeah, we all know that those things can be challenging, but it's also challenging to deal with those things when you've been deprived of the tools to deal with them due to your upbringing. And I do very much blame my cult upbringing on some of my weaknesses and vulnerabilities when it comes to navigating social issues, definitely, for sure. So again, sorry for babbling, sorry for rambling. Hopefully some or all of this is useful and relatable to you, my viewers. Thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for letting me into your head for the 24 minutes that this video's gone on for. And yes, there will be more content to come, but please bear with me. I know you understand. Thank you so much. Take care.